Hello and good evening everyone, and welcome to round 4 of the SSRI GT3 series here at Laguna Seca. My name is Ryan Walker, and alongside me is Frank Hopp with Chris Hill in the background doing his magic on the cameras. And yeah, Frank, already 4 rounds into the season, and it's absolutely flew by, and the championship in both classes could not be any closer.
No, true. It's really nice up till now. Close racing. Unfortunately, we do have some sign outs on the in the pro category for tonight, just because of holidays and moving to Germany by Clay Bani, who's actually our leader. But we'll get to that in a minute, I guess. So yeah, it's all up for grabs, I think, with the people not there. So and then on a reasonably difficult track, I think, because Laguna Seca is not an easy track. So, yeah, a mistake is easily made. So a lot can happen tonight. So, looking forward to it.
Absolutely, me too. One of my favourite tracks, Laguna Seca, and yeah, it's a great track, but there's not many passing opportunities. So, trying to make a move around here is going to be difficult, I think, and patience is going to be the name of the game. But as I mentioned at the start, 4 rounds into the season, and with one round remaining next week at the 2 weeks rather, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for a 2-race format, with the first race being 20 minutes and the second race being 45 minutes. So yeah, I think that's going to play a part in the championship finale. But we're here at Laguna Seca, and just waiting for qualifying to go ahead. And what do you expect around this track, Frank? What do you think are going to be the keys to the race?
Well, I think one of the things might be pit strategy. Looking at the track, it's really easy, and I think quite often that people will get a wheel in the sand, and if you do it often enough, yeah, you might really easily get some pressure loss in one of your tires. So yeah, going for the full race, 75 minutes with only one stop for fuel is a risk I think you're taking on this track. But yeah, some people are way better than I am, so they might actually stay on track where I'm probably yeah, just sliding out. One of the key things I think as well, this is a track with low grip. So it's yeah, I find it personally, I find it a hard track to drive. Every sort of mistake is easily is quickly punished, and we'll get to that later. But of course, you have in Laguna Seca, you have the famous corkscrew, and that's a really hard corner to do right. If you want to try and get some speed in, it's very easy to overturn the car when you're actually pointing downhill. And if you just get too much steering input, the back will swing past you, and you'll be looking up the 18-meter slope that's in that corner. So, yeah, yeah, there's a lot that can happen, I think. So. Also really tight turn 1, so in this case the Andretti hairpin it's called nowadays, or it's actually officially turn 2, which is a double apex corner more or less. Yeah, and that's going to be tricky as well, I think, with the large field that we have to get through there without anybody hitting anyone. So especially those first few corners are, yeah, quite hard to do it right without any mistakes. So that's going to be one of the key points, I guess. So, but we've heard that qualifying is on the way, so we're probably gonna switch to that.
Absolutely, and as qualifying's underway, the first few times are starting to come through with Mark Redfern jumping to the top of the timing standings. Actually, as I take that back, it's Baz Van Mels at the top. Sorry, my live timing's played up. Yeah, it's Mark Redfern at the top of the timing standings, and closely followed by Regan Mitchell and Reiner Aftenstad. And yeah, yeah, I think qualifying is going to be vital around here, Frank, because like we were talking about, it's difficult to pass around here. But don't be surprised if you see some people trying to maybe trying to make moves on lap 1, maybe on the outside into turn 2. Well, basically, yeah, turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. So don't be surprised if you see some people trying to like move around or they trying to fight for position, because I think position around here before the pit stops is going to be absolutely vital. And according to this SimGrid website, I was looking this afternoon, there could be a good there's a possibility of rain, which is considering we're in California, which quite it shocked me, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened.
Well, I don't know exactly how the settings are for the server at the moment. To be honest, I don't know what the settings are for the at least the randomness in this case. But I think it's gonna be dry, to be honest. Looks sunny now the next 30 minutes as well. Reasonably hot, 22, 29, 22 degrees. Air temperature 29, track temperature. So to be honest, I don't expect rain on this track. So, but if it's gonna be there, that I mean, it would spice things up, but I don't think it's really usual to have a rain race here.
Yeah, from my experience of racing on ACC, I think I've only raced around here in the rain once or twice. Yeah, just the once, I think, and that was it. But apart from that, any other races I've done around here, it's always been dry. But as we look at Justin Dion, one of the pretty much still mathematically in contention for the championship, and as you see right there, he's currently third place overall in qualifying. And if he can take advantage of several of the championship contenders not being around tonight, if he can take advantage of that and get a good result, a good haul of points, he could possibly basically put himself right back up there at the top, possibly in first or second place, and that would be a good position to be in going into the championship finale in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, Justin and Andre, they both missed the last race at Imola. So Andre Urso and also Brogan Dyer, they were all three. They weren't there. So you now have Andre Urso and Justin de Jong, who are now in third and fourth place. Yeah, they're I think officially 6th and 7th in the standings at the moment. So yeah, if they can. Yeah, they will need to score quite a lot of points. I mean, Marius Dreisig is on 55 and Justin is on 36. So if Marius Dreisig is doing anything right, yeah, it's going to be really hard for them to catch up.
Absolutely, as Marius jumps up to 4th in qualifying, and yeah, as you look at Marius at the moment, and I think just thinking about the car to have around here, Frank, as well, as Marius goes a little bit wide there. What do you think? What do you think will be the car to have around here tonight? I was thinking about maybe possibly the BMW, because the BMW seems to handle basically like high speed corners really well, especially this section we're heading up to now, the corkscrew. But in your opinion, what would you say the car is to have around here, or the cars to have?
I honestly don't know. It's probably the Mustang that's just come out today. Which is officially the best car now because it's an American car on an American track. So there is absolutely no other choice than the Mustang is the best car for this track. But no, yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I've tried. I did my first laps, I think, since some GT4 championship race. I think like ages ago. Yesterday evening on the practice server. In the BMW because that's my car and I just couldn't get it around, so I was thinking like, okay, the BMW is a really bad car for this track. And then Michael Thomas is yeah, just proving me wrong again. Making me look bad. Thanks, Michael. So so yeah, I don't know. I've always, up till now, I've mostly driven mid-engine cars, so I really like the way they handle. And I'm now driving for the first time some of the front engine, or at least a front engine car, like the Aston, BMW, Mercedes are. But yeah, looking at the type of cars that are now all in the top 10, I mean, there's a huge difference in cars at the moment. So BOP seems to work if you look at that then. And then there might not be a really specific car that's better at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just thinking about the BOP as well, and you have to give credit and a big shout out to LFM who have done a great job getting this BOP, like pretty much spot on. I mean, throughout the field, there's always every different cars and different manufacturers that are really close together, and I think it's just proof that LFN have done a good job, and I think most of these drivers are probably agree with that.
Yeah. So for the people at home who don't know the abbreviation BOP, it's the balance of performance, which means that all cars have sort of different characteristics, and some cars will be better on one track compared to another. And then with the balance of performance, they are sort of made equal. So you could get some extra weight in certain cars, or perhaps get some weight taken out of your car, just to make sure that the cars are more or less even on that track. And that's a variable that changes on every track. And that's something that is not provided perhaps that well by Kunos themselves, so the manufacturer of the ACC game. But then we have Low Fuel Motorsports, LFM, which is a competitive system, more or less, an environment where you can race versus other people in an organized manner, and which is not a league in itself, but just an overall competition. And within LFM, then you can get there you have so many drivers and so many input, is that they can make sure that they get the BOPs right, so each car is on a track more or less in the same bandwidth. So it's the way the BOP works.
Absolutely. We're about pretty much just coming up to about 10 minutes remaining in qualifying, and it's still Michael Thomas at the top from Andrea Urzo and Marius Dreisig that is looking at Michael at the moment. And yeah, Michael's pretty much been one of those drivers that I've watched in ACC for quite some time as well. Always been a quick driver, and I would not rule him out of possibly taking the winner round here tonight. But obviously, 75-minute race with a mandatory pit stop where you don't have to take fuel on tyres. You can take just fuel if you want to. But I think, excuse me, looking after the tyres around here is go. I think I would be very surprised if most of these drivers do this race on one set of tyres, but I think you never know. You might see some drivers using the usual tactic of that Sam Spenklank, for example, has used this season. They just going as long as possible and then basically diving into the pits towards the end and just taking a splash of fuel.
Yeah, it is, of course, if the overtaking is that hard, and you can make sure that you get good exits, then of course you might just take a full load of fuel and perhaps hold everyone up around you, but yeah, they can't really pass you easily. So, and you would have the advantage during the pit stops is that you can actually stay out longer and have a shorter pit stop time. So and that's for the people as well. If you have a normal pit stop with tires, so changing your tires, then your pit stop will automatically be 30 seconds, and within those 30 seconds you will also be refueled. But yeah, refueling doesn't take 30 seconds in total, so pit stop is then sort of cut off at 30 seconds. And then if you just take fuel, then it depends on the amount of fuel, how long your pit stop will take. And it might then be from a few seconds if you only have to take a few liters to a bit longer if you take more. But yeah, it's advantage. It has its advantages for track position, perhaps if you stay out longer, but your overall speed during your stint will be slower. So that's a bit how it works.
Indeed, as we're watching Patrick Treffers at the moment, currently down in 28th overall at the moment, coming across the line. So it's still plenty of time for most of these drivers to improve their time. But yeah, if anyone's watching this the broadcast and wants to say hello in the chat, feel free to say hi. They've got a few people in the chat at the moment with Baz Van Melis's mother in the chat, and also Denise Pope from Wild Friends Racing. They pretty much the brains behind the team. And she does a fantastic job of the liveries. As I say that, Chris is on point with showing the Wild Friends livery on screen, so I must be reading my mind. But yeah, Richard Pixley, Frank, is one of those drivers that's been really impressive this season, and he's been getting good results with that Nissan, considering it's a car that's not. Well, it wasn't ages ago. It was never really used that much.
No, and that's I think the fun thing is that they now have been doing. I mean, Kunos did a really good effort in the latest patches to actually get some BOP in as well, and make sure that some of the cars got a bit of love and a bit of changes in for the sort of the power delivery between certain RPMs of the engine, so they would get a bit extra power. So the cars that weren't used that much, like the Nissan GT-R or the Lexus, was one of the cars that was no longer driven at all, almost. Well, you see them coming back and actually performing really, really quick sometimes. So, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the more cars you see on track, the more brands you see on track, the nicer it is to look at anyway, I think. So.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say that as well, Pixie goes up to currently 12th at the moment, and he's around about first, second, third, fourth in the semi-pro class at the moment. So yeah, it's been a good season by Richard. In tier 1 this season. I believe this is his first season in tier 1, because I think he was in tier 2 last season. So yeah, good to see him doing well. Okay, he got promoted. I've just been told. So yeah, nevertheless, good to see him do well. And as I look at I can never get his first name.
Terje Fredriksson.
Terje Fredriksson. So
yeah, he last time he called himself Teddy, which was actually pronounceable, but yeah. No, it's Terje, I think. Expected. What was he? He's from.
He is a Norwegian.
Norway, I think. Yeah, he's Norway. He's Norwegian. So Terje, I guess. And perhaps we should also take a look at Chris Pinchback, as he has a fan in the chat as well, Gene. So, should give him some love on screen, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't. Maybe Gene can answer this in the chat. Is Chris or Gene? Is Gene Chris's mother or wife?
We don't know. Let's find out.
I probably should know this, but I'll just be my usual self. I'm just too slow to notice.
We only know that Marike is Bas's mom, so she's irregular. And there's always the hi and then a return of hi Bas's mom, and that's That's sort of an ongoing joke, I think, in the chat. So that's fun. No, but it's always nice to see that people sort of, other
Oh,
people will check in, and yeah. But
yeah.
that's the thing as well on this track, right? Because if you get on the sand and you, it's really slippery. So first of all, you will lose time because your car sort of bugs down. But also, if you're still full on throttle, the car will just immediately break out. And I think it's a hard track because you have these elevation changes. Because in total, there's like 55 meters of elevation change on the track, of which then 18 is in the corkscrew as well. So that's a really steep drop. So that's this one. And it's like an 18-meter drop in yeah, what is it, 50 meters? It's I think yeah, I probably should try it in VR at one point to see how steep it actually is, because I don't think the sort of a flat screen does it justice, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a track with elevation changes, and those elevation changes as well. Also, just before you get on to the corkscrew, it sort of flattens out. So you're yeah, going up, and then at the top it flattens out, and when you're braking there and you're steering, you might just lose the back at that moment. And that's with quite a few of these corners. Not so you have a few corners that are that have a small inclination where you can get on the apex, and yeah, it sort of gives you some bite in the corner. But yeah, some of these corners don't, and especially on the inside of the corners, you have these huge red. Yeah, bullets of death, I would call them almost. So you see one there, and if you hit it, which I did yesterday ad nauseum, yeah, you immediately will lose the car, unless perhaps you have your car like on a ridiculous ride height. So it's a track. Normally, I think people will use high wing settings as well, just to keep it planted and not lose the car that much. But also, if you have high wing setting and you want to get the car to turn, you need to fiddle with all other things, and then the track is slippery. And then if you try, yeah, there you go. So, and then if you try to accelerate out of a corner, it's very easy to lose the rear again. So it's yeah, I think it's not a it's quite a hard track to drive on. And then some of these corners, especially if you're driving really close to someone and you can't really see your entry point and you're braking, it's very easy to misjudge.
Absolutely, as we're about 45 seconds from. Oh, someone goes off in the background there. I think that was Andy King in the background. Yeah, we're about 35 seconds away from the end of qualifying. So anyone that's on a qualifying lap at the moment, this is pretty much this lap, and the next lap will be the last chance to improve. But
So
yeah, it's been played.
yeah.
It's been.
And Marlot is still improving 1/10, and I see Andre Ursu was on a 10th ahead, but he lost it again. I think there aren't a lot of people actually gaining at the moment, so no. It's I think there's nobody actually quicker at the moment. So, but incredibly fast time in the front by Ben. It's 1:21.3 is amazingly fast. And there are quite a few people actually within the 21. So there's the first 7 are all in 1:21, which is mind-boggling to me. Like I said, I did some training yesterday, and I couldn't get it below 1:24. So I have some practice to do before I'm able to drive decently. But I now need to change to the Mustang, because that's of course an OP car now on this track.
Yeah, I can see a few people jump into the Mustang. I think once it gets once it starts getting used more regularly. But yeah, as we're coming to the closing stages of qualified, and it's Richard Pixley. It's Richard Clips of Grass. Currently third in the pro in the semi-pro class, and a good effort with the Nissan and from him. So, but as it's pretty much qualifying coming to a close, we'll go through the grid in a few moments' time. But yeah, looking at qualifying, Frank, it looks like we're in for a close race.
Yeah, it's and then like we said, also with the so again, like the first 14 are all within a second. But that's like because you just then it's like in 100th extra you still have two other people, so it's yeah, it's really close again, which is what you would expect in the pro class anyway, I guess. So, but still really good. So I expect a really fun race, to be honest. It's like we said, it's a hard track. It's but it's because it's a bit hard to overtake, but it still lends to quite close racing as well. It's quite a wide track, so there are a couple of corners where you can try and sort of dive bomb. So especially in like here, turn 2, so the long turn 2. Yeah, if people brake completely on the outside and don't go to the first apex point already, or the first corner apex, yeah, it's a sort of double apex corner normally. Then yeah, it might be that people see an opportunity to try and put their car in between that. So, let's wait and see. But let's go through the starting order. So.
Absolutely, after qualifying, it's Ben Mullard in the Porsche takes pole position, and I think I could be wrong. I think that's Ben's first pole position of the season. So congratulations to him. Then alongside him in row 1 is Michael Thomas with Andrea Urzo in 3rd, and then Marius Dreisig, one of the championship contenders, in 4th, and then Justin Dion, another championship contender, in 5th, and then Regan Mitchell 6th. Terry Fredrickson in 7th, and then Nard Cox in 8th. Iridius Partes in 9th, and then Richard Pixley rounds out the top 10. And then Martin van der Kraan in 11th, Nick Vargers in 12th, Alessandro Corzo in 13th, with Martin Ulrich 14th, and 15th is Dario Vianello, and then Chris Pinsbeck in 16th, with 17th going to Peter Van. How can I say that? Lieshout, that's it. I thought so, but I didn't want to embarrass myself. Andrew Richardson in 18th, 19th is Ryder after the start, and rounding at the grid, not rounding at the grid, sorry, Mark Redfern in 20th, Andy King in 21st, with 22nd Milan Duma, 23rd is Mick Shellikins, 24th is Nikolai Schroeder, and then 25th you've got Raymond Lutin, that's the one, and then 26th is Stuart Wright with Mr. Baz Van Melis, Mr. Admin himself in 27th, and then round out the grid in 28th is Patrick Treffers.
So there you go. It's a BMW at the front, and the last two are BMW as well. So yeah. Now it's a hard question. Is it a good car for this track, right? So yeah, perhaps we can go through a small drive-through of the track as well, if we still have some time for that. Well, we might do it just quickly, so people will know the track a bit.
But yeah, before we go through the race, we're going to try and quickly get a track guide up for you. But yeah, I think you go good.
Yeah,
As a yeah,
There we go.
fine, I got it. So take it away, Frank.
Yeah. So first off, we go through the main straight with the pits on the left side. So it's a counterclockwise track. Then we have a turn one, which isn't really a turn, and then we go into the Andretti hairpin for Mario Andretti, the race car driver, so Formula One driver as well, which is a double sort of apex hairpin. Then hard braking for the corner 3, the right-hander, and stay on the outside, and you try and need to get as much speed here on the right-hander through corner 4. Easy tap on the brake, and then quite easy to sort of overshoot and get on the sand on the outside. Then we go to corner 5, and then we need to go quite steep already uphill, and you need to try, because it's uphill, you need to take as much speed as well. And then I think one of the corners that makes or breaks your race as well is this corner 6 onto the Bobby Rahal straight, which is one of the NASCAR drivers, I think. And then we get the famous corner 7, 8, and 8A, which is the corkscrew with that 18-meter drop, which is immense. So we go down and then into the rainy curve, rainy racing, the motor sport driver, and then onto the corner 10, the right-hand corner, onto the sort of there you have on the left side you have the entry of the pits. And then a hard left, a bit over 90 degrees onto the straight again on the pits. So yeah, that's one lap of Laguna Seca. It's a track built in 57 already, so it's actually quite old already.
Yeah, Laguna Seca's been around for quite some time. You probably, some people probably think it's not been around that long. They looking at the current state of the track, with it be pretty much up to date. But yeah, it's been around for a long time, and it's went through some track configuration changes throughout the years. But this is pretty much the current version that we're using at the moment, and it's probably my favorite. Just because it produces fantastic racing, and it's one of those tracks that, from my experience, it requires you to have a lot of patience and not do anything silly. But as you come up to the corkscrew now, as you look there, just look at the dip on the exit. It's one of those corners that can catch you out, because you've got that little bump in the middle and it can unsettle the car. But as they're coming through downhill on the exit of the corkscrew, it's pretty much this stage of the race, or before the race, where drivers start to get into that little mindset, and something happened to Ben Miller.
No, yeah, he was a bit too far ahead, and I think otherwise he would get jumped to the pits. So he was a bit too far ahead on the.
Okay, I thought something happened. Yeah. I thought something happened to the server there, but yeah, we're all good. But as they're coming up to the final corner, let's everyone's starting to bunch up now, and Mar needs to watch it. He doesn't jump the start, because you need to stick to a certain speed limit before the start finish line. But as they're coming up to the start finish line as well, and we'll be underway in a few moments' time, and just waiting for the green lights to come on, and yep, we're underway.
We're off. So first corner, which isn't the corner, in my opinion, and but it might take people by surprise on getting certain this the double apex at the moment. But yeah, really nice start, I think. Oh, almost a really nice start.
Oh,
yeah.
And it looks like someone's had issues. It's Peter has had issues back in the field, and it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact there causing him to go around. But apart from that, it's been relatively clean at the moment.
Yeah. This is a new angle. Well done, Chris. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's to be expected.
So it's I was going to say it was relatively clean, but I think I might have just jinxed that. But at the moment, as we come across the line to complete the first lap, and it's still Ben Mullard leading in the Porsche from Michael Thomas in the BMW. So yeah, I wonder if I wonder what the plan for the Michael will be, Frank. What does he want to try and make a move straight away, or do you just want to try and maybe work with Ben, maybe try and pull away and leave a bit of a gap to the rest of the field?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think this is a track where you need to settle and get into a rhythm, and then, yeah, especially fighting here. If like we said, it's so hard to pass. Is that I think it's a way better strategy to just stay behind someone and try to drive away. At least get some gaps going before you try and do anything silly. I mean, the first four, I think, they were really close together in the qualifying. So if they can sort of drive away the four of them, then yeah, that might be the best option, I think, to sort of try and settle it in between the four of them. But still, really curious on the strategies that people are actually using.
The days they come through, excuse me, they come through the corkscrew now, and what a view from the corkscrew! You can just see that that drop on the exit, and as you see, one of the championship contenders, Marius Dreisig, fourth place at the moment, and probably I think Frank would be reasonably happy with that qualifying result, but I think the Aston Martin around here, as good as the car is around here, it's just the only thing that lets it down from my experience is the extra slow speed corners is getting back on the power, just because it's got that turbo lag.
Yeah, but most of these corners are not that super low speed. I think one of the only ones is really the hairpin, and the other ones, yeah, are decent, I think. So, and he seems to be able to keep up quite easily with the first three. So, and it might be for him all about, okay, if I just finish fourth, and none of these are his direct contenders, I think, in the settings. So, let me take a quick look at the settings or the positions. So Ben, where's Ben? Ben Mullard is on 19th position because he only did 2 races up till now. So he's not a contender. Then we have Michael Thomas, who missed 2 races. So he's only done 2 races. So he has 26 points. So I think if Marius is just taking it easy for his championship, it would be great if he finished 4th. I think none of these people are his direct competitors, I think. So the first one, who's directly behind Marius, is Regan Mitchell. But Regan is he's 7th at the moment. So.
Yep, Regan. Yeah, Regan's down in 7th at the moment. So I wonder if I don't know. Technically, Regan's just out. I guess he's kind of still in contention for the championship, but it would take.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
it would take a lot of probably take a lot for him, or a miracle for him to drag himself right back to close to the top of the championship. But you never know. We've still got 1 round remaining after this, and with it being a two race format, anything can happen. Someone's had issues in the corkscrew.
Oh, is that? Oh, that's Andre Ursu.
So I wonder if Andreas was maybe not Andreas. Andre was maybe tagged in the corkscrew.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said as well, if you try and if you try and get too much speed into the corkscrew, your back will step out when you turn in. So that might have happened, but perhaps we can get a replay of that. Yeah, you should hear what our Reverend Viewmaster is telling us. Yeah.
as Mullard and the Thomas are starting to pull away slightly from the Dreisig behind them, but I think. Yeah, I agree, Frank. I wonder if Marius is maybe just not going to push or overdrive to try and keep up. Maybe just stick to a plan and they just stick to a pace that he's able to do. Maybe just stay lap consistently without pushing too much. But as a come up to the corkscrew yet again, we've seen several drivers already have issues in the race, and we're only about probably, gosh, about coming up for about probably 5 minutes in this race.
Yeah, and also still there might be some difference, right? I'm not quite sure if Marius did any long stints. Didn't he do a stint where he just changed fuel at one, or just added some fuel? Okay, so here we have the replay of Andre. See what happens. Oh yeah, he just spins it out.
Yeah,
And it's so easily done.
yeah. I wonder if it looked like Marius maybe just tried to get back on the power, and I know sometimes when you go over, depending on what angle or what line you take through the exit, if you take it the wrong way and you hit that, the car just bottoms out and you're pretty much a passenger. So
Yeah, I think he was too much to the right, which is where you get that sort of jump almost then. But you need so in the first part, so in part 8, you have 8 and 8A. In part 8 you try to need to stay as close to the inside of the corner as possible, I think. Because that's sort of that's the flattest part, and if you go to the outside too much and then you have to steer in, you almost jump the car. But they seem to be driving away from Taya now as well, so he seems to be falling back a bit.
Yep, there's the battle for the lead at the top of the screen, and there's another battle at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, it looks like the field is slightly separated. As it looks like yeah, the Tallest tries to close up on Mollard under braking, but yeah, the top three pretty much breaking away at the moment, and at the moment it's pretty much just these three all by themselves. As yeah, everyone's having issues behind them, and yeah, I was expecting it to be a lot more chaotic, Frank. But fair credit to his drivers, they've been sensible. Yeah, there's been some just little incidents, but nothing too dramatic.
No, I think the people are keeping it really clean, but also look at how close Michael is just keeping on the back of Ben. And really close and nicely and no mistakes. He's just sort of keeping that like 5-meter gap almost. It's really good driving of him. And you see them as well. I mean, they're just not hitting the sand, right? And if you look at the right corner, those are sometimes just out of the corner. They are just hitting the sand a bit in their battle, so they just go a bit too wide then.
Indeed, as we come into turn 2 or the Andretti hairpin, and again, Thomas closes right up under braking, but it's just that Porsche on corner exit. Corner exit just seems to have that rear engine as well. It seems to be helping with traction on the exit of slow speed corners, but it seems to be, yeah, both these drivers seem to, with both these cars, the Porsche seems to be very good on corner exit of slow speed corners, but Thomas with the BMW seems to be really good under braking. And I think if you're Dreisig just waiting here in the back, waiting here in third place, I think and you've got a big gap behind you, I think it's good for him that he's just waiting there at the moment and not doing anything silly as he come through this long left-hander, and pretty much probably one of the most difficult corners because the tyres are taking such a punishment. And then, as I say that, Dreisig definitely closing up to both of these cars in front. So Mallard and Thomas are definitely holding each other up now. As it looks like Dreisig's got a run.
Yeah, but having a run and actually passing here is a bit different, right? So Do you know how the Porsche is on the brakes? I have actually no clue. I mean, looking at how the BMW is holding up on the brakes, it seems to be really good. But I actually have no idea on the Porsche, on the newer Porsche. It's
Well,
always been really good on exit, but I always thought that the braking was a bit less than some of the other cars, but I'm not quite sure.
yeah, from what I remember, the Porsche is actually really good on the brakes as well. But uh, the only thing I really hated about the Porsche, or the current or the previous version of the Porsche, I should say, was a basically going into a corner, say Blanchimont at Spa, for example. You go to turn into the corner and you just get that death oversteer where the car just wants to come round on you. So, but from my limited laps offline with this current Porsche, I would say it's a much more stable version. As it looks like the Thomas is trying to make a move and he's starting to get a little bit, just watching his language, starting to get a little bit more a bit more feisty now.
Yeah, but if we see how Marius was able to sort of catch up, I think Ben is now he is the slowest perhaps at the moment compared to the other guys.
As it looks like,
We have an overtake. Urzu overtaking, that was Nard Cox, yeah. Well, nice action. I mean, Nard isn't somebody to easily pass, I think. He's really quick as well. I'm quite curious because sometimes, I don't know, do you do that ever? If you're, so for qualifying, you would perhaps use a higher wing setup just because for the lap time, and then for a race get a low wing setup for so you have some extra speed to actually overtake people. Is that something you ever taken into account in your setups?
uh, when it comes to qualifying and race setups, I always just from it could just be the way I like to set the car up or my driving style. I always set the car up with pretty much a high. Oh, it looks like it looks like it might have a change of position, and as I say that, Thomas is trying to go around the outside, and I think at this point the Imola is definitely holding him up now. So, but to go back to your question regarding the setup, I think I always prefer to stick with the same wing or the same wing setup for qualifying and the race, just because I find that more comfortable. I mean, in a straight line, you probably lose maybe. Oh, is it? Oh,
I
is
think
it?
Marius just hit him a bit. He had
Yeah,
so much more speed. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say it looked like there might have been a slight bit of contact, possibly, or that it was close to being contact. But yeah, I prefer just to use same wing setting, just because it's I find it's just it's more just what I'm comfortable with.
I mean, normally I think what I find a bit hard sometimes on the high wing settings is because then you need more rake in the car just to get it to turn. At least I need that, otherwise I can't get around the corner. And then I find the car to become a bit more unstable especially on corner exit. And I find it a bit harder to deal with that. So sometimes I just use a lower wing setting and so I can get the back a bit lower and it feels more slight problem. Oh, there we are again.
Yep. So yeah, it definitely looks like it. Mars holding Thomas up at this point, but I think I wonder if, as we've got a battle at the bottom of the screen as well, it looks like we might have another position change, but nope, everything stays the same. But yeah, I wonder if Moore is maybe just maybe not holding Thomas up on purpose, but maybe just trying to look after the tyres.
Yeah, I mean, it's a track where he needs that was too much defending. Yeah, he went in a too low angle. He was defending too much now. And now we can see how quick Michael actually is, I think. But a nice overtake. I mean, that's sort of like, I think your classic overtake on on Laguna Seca. Into the corkscrew, somebody outbrakes a bit. Oh, and there's another overtake. Yeah, as well. Oh, nice one as well. Oh, it was on Milan Dalma by Raymond Lutijn. So really nice overtake from him as well. Oh, all those all those screens we need to look at. Can't keep up.
Yeah, I was going to say we need more camera angles because there's so much going on at the moment. But yeah, so Thomas has got by Mard, and it looks like starting to pull away. So it looks like definitely Thomas is the quicker driver at the moment out of him and Mard. But I wonder with Thomas getting by, I wonder if Dreizeg's going to try and be eager to try and make a move as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, he doesn't really need to. I mean, he's third, and like we said, Regan Mitchell at the moment is even 10th, so he's been passed again by a few others. So looking at the scoreboard, there's no reason for Marius to actually go for a move. Of course, with the sort of double header and reverse grid next time, yeah, that's always a risk, right, in the second race. So yeah, you might want to try and get every point out of this race that you can, but yeah, why take the extra risk perhaps? And I think Justin de Jong is also really catching up on Terry, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Terry currently
Oh,
as it looks like we've had issues for Justin Dion, and I wonder if
oh, was that the commentator curse? Did we do it?
I don't think we done it on this occasion. I think it was the director's curse.
Oh,
So
let's all blame Chris. Yeah.
And the Justin Dion, it looks like he's left the race as well, or left the race session. So yeah, a night that Justin could have took advantage and got some points in the championship. Even though, let me quickly check, he's fourth place in the championship, still in contention.
Oh, he's sixth, I think.
Oh yeah, sixth in the championship. Yeah. So he could have took. No, he's P4 in the championship, so he could have took advantage and got a good handful of points.
I have him in sixth in the championship. Of course, Clyde has now he's signed off, but then still, because as I have, if I look at the standings on our website, it's Clyde, Marius, Regan, Sam, Martin, Justin, Andre, Brogan, and Michael, and Cameron. So those are the top 10. As far as I can.
Okay, so yeah, I was just going by the standings on the SimGrip website. So, but yeah, so much that's going on, and I wonder if that was Justin Dion maybe having a bit of leaving the race session. I wonder if that was a bit of a, as we like to call it in the sim racing industry, a bit of a rage moment.
Looks like it. I'll sign out from the championship. Yeah, don't know why that is.
So yeah, plenty going on, but still the good races throughout the field, and considering it's Laguna Seca, it's actually been a really clean race at the moment, and there's been, yeah, we've had some little incidents from time to time in the early stages, but apart from that, the race has been really good.
Yeah, it's actually been almost boring. No, not really. No, but it's yeah, I find it to be a very decent race. I mean, how many yellow cars have we seen on the track map? Not a lot. So, don't even think there's. I'm not quite sure. Is it hard to get a track cut on this track? I didn't really take
Uh,
a look. Took a look at that.
I-
Yeah, I'll find out next week. That's true. But that's probably not going to be a track cut. That's just a spin. So yeah.
yeah, it's a good point about track cuts you bring up. I think
Because
the only place I could probably think of is through here on the exit of the kink, or maybe through
maybe on the top of the so if just before, so that's the before you go on the Rahal straight. So that's corner 6.
possibly.
And then at the end of corner 6, you might get a track cut, I think, because that's where you try to get us to keep as much speed as you can going onto the corkscrew.
Possibly, yeah. Sorry about my little girl scream there. I thought Raymond was going to fly into the other car in front of him and into the corkscrew, but luckily he managed to get it slowed down just enough. So yeah, just let me wipe the sweat from my brow. But
Milan does it. He brakes until the last moment, apparently.
so pretty much say like Max Verstappen then. Yeah.
But there are no bullets here that you can take out of the way for your fellow competitors because it was just in the way. I think that's what he said on the interview.
Yeah, that was yeah. It probably sounds like that was a compliment, by the way, Raymond. Just in case you watch us back, and it wasn't, I wasn't being nasty, but yeah, as we watch Milan at the moment heading up for the corkscrew, and yeah, so even though I thought it quieting down, but it's starting to hot up yet again, and but apart from that, apart from this battle and the battle off at the front, it's quieting down slightly.
Yeah, that's like, what is it? Car 25, 43, and 70. Those are quite close, I think. So there's a battle going on there as well with what is that? Yeah, Chris Pinchbeck is quite close to Regan Mitchell, I think. And Dario Van Vianello is, so that's quite close as well. We've had already 2 pit stops, I just noticed. So what is it? Simon Stewart Wright and Matt Redfern already did their pit stops. Not quite sure if that's also to get some damage out of the way, but
Yeah, I was going to say I was quite surprised that I saw some people put it already, but yeah, that's a good question as well, Frank. Regarding pit stops, especially up at the front, if you're being held up slightly and you think you can't get by on track, is it maybe worth putting early and maybe trying to, depending on what strategy you're on, is it worth putting early and trying to get an undercut and trying to get some clear track to put in some quick laps?
well, it might be a very valid strategy, I guess. I always find it a bit tricky because then the moment you start catching up to people, because you're supposed to be quicker, so when will you do the pit stop, and how much profit will you get once you sort of get entangled with the slower cars as well, and how quickly will you be able to pass those? So on a track that's quite hard to overtake, like this one, yeah, does it make sense in the end to do that? You might get a few laps of some extra speed, but in the end, I think yeah, it might still be a bit harder to try and get past the slower cars as well. But I'm not a real strategy buff, so yeah, what do I know? I know the sort of ins and outs of what you can do, but I always, I've either done, I think, like my usual strategy has always been like halfway I'll do a pit stop and do everything, tires and fuel. And I think this year I've done, for the first 75-minute race, I think I did a complete a long haul with only a bit of fuel, but that, yeah, I didn't really gain anything with that. So, and sometimes it's like I have more fun with a low fuel car to drive it. It's just more fun. It's a bit more lively. It's and then just going for a more fun experience. It's actually quite. Oh, that's nice, nice. Will they be letting each other live? Yeah. Oh, great.
Yep. So Raymond's trying everything to try and get by and try and get by Schroeder, and yeah, the Nissan in a straight line is absolutely
Yeah.
quick. So yeah, it's a difficult car to
Rocket.
get by.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an absolute rocket because it's basically, yeah, it's one of those cars that hardly has any aerodynamic drag on it. So in a straight line, it's an absolute rocket.
I think mostly it has to do with the engine. I think it's really good. I'm not quite sure if it's not draggy, but
As a game, as again, Raymond closes right up under braking, so he's definitely pushing. But again, as you see there, the Nissan just pulls away slightly, ever so slightly in a straight line.
yeah. You just see that the what is it, the McLaren, right?
Let me
McLaren?
see.
Oh, Ferrari. Sorry.
Yeah, they've got a Nissan,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ferrari,
So
Porsche,
it's a Ferrari. Yeah.
and McLaren. So yeah,
Yeah.
a bit of a pack starting to form here.
It really looks like the Ferrari has a bit more turning capability. So it's just a bit snappier on turn in. The GTR seems a bit sluggish. There's now a bit of a starting to get a train of about 6 cars, I think. So there are a few behind these two as well. I mean, they seem to be quite quick, right? And then Milan really sometimes he sometimes just gets back into the slipstream, and then he loses them in a few corners as well. So, and they are driving with at least 3 together already. So if we could skip to car down, I think Milan is under pressure as well. He has like 3 other cars quite close behind him now.
Yep. So yeah, Milan as well. Currently, yeah, trying to make up more positions as well. But again, it's just like we were talking about, Frank. It's just trying to make a move around here is so difficult, and uh, yeah, you're pretty much just got to be patient and wait for the driver in front of you to make a mistake or make a possible mistake. So yeah, I think it wouldn't surprise me if some of these drivers maybe dived into the pits. Oh, as I say that, it looks like who was up behind that was Selican.
Silicons, yeah.
Selican's making a mistake behind and running wide
And
onto
the
the
King and
camera.
Maarten van der Kaan did it as well.
So
And I don't think you need, yeah, you can't do that much on this track, because I really do believe, from what I can remember, is that you will lose quite a bit of air pressure in your tires if you do it too much, which is one of the reasons I will almost definitely do a full pit stop and just get rid of the tires, because I'm gonna hit that sand anyway. That's for
indeed,
next week. Yeah.
Looks like Milan's closing up slightly, but just not close enough to make a move. And I get it. Just Laguna Seca proving that it's hard to prove or hard to pass around here, I should say. As it looks like Schroeder's pulled away slightly with these two battling away.
Those sausage curves on the inside here are so tricky. This is a corner where you can, if you just have to dab your brakes a bit to keep some high speed in. I find this corner always quite a bit harder because you need to turn more than you think. It's a bit tightening, corner 5. And then here you have to try and keep as much speed as you can, get on that green runoff as much as you can. And then here it's hard braking, keep it straight and then try and keep it really close and not overturn it. But he's losing quite a bit of time on that corkscrew. This is I've hit this curb, so the sausage curb on that what is that, corner 10, I think. I've hit that one so much yesterday. I don't know why. I just couldn't get it turned in where I wanted it to, and then I always hit that curb.
Yeah, it's always a tricky corner, that one, because you really, as Milan just runs wide there, but you can't take some lines or different lines through the turn 2. You can normally hit the apex, take a wide entry in the middle of the corner, and then basically tuck back in and clip the second curb. But yeah, that corner that you're talking about I've done that a few times as well. They clip that sausage curve and it's always sent me spinning round or into the wall.
Yep. Oh, Michael Thomas is in the pit at the moment, so he's gonna be falling back a bit. Quite curious where he's actually gonna return on track. That's quite an early pit stop, right? I mean, you would expect it around 37.5. Oh, Raymond is already in as well.
And I think some drivers are maybe realising it's maybe worth diving into the pits, maybe earlier than expected, just to try and get some clear track and see if we can try and make some positions through the pit stops. But as we look back up towards the front, it's Ben Mallard back to the lead, and Dreizig's falling back slightly. So I wonder if Dreizig's maybe deciding to look after his tyres and drop back a little bit. See if he can try and get away with just making a fuel only stop. But as Mallard comes up to the line, he's got traffic in front of him, so it's not what he needs.
No, but that's like a blue flag, right?
Yeah, as I say that as well,
Yeah, okay.
traffic gets out of the way, so yeah, perfect timing heading into turn 2.
Do we have Michael already back on track? So he's now 17th. Okay. That's quite a big drop. Dario Vianello in the pit as well. Wasn't good. That's that. Stewart. Fortunately, I sometimes get a freeze on the stream that I'm looking at, and I notice it's going correctly on YouTube, so that keeps continuing. So to have some small issues sometimes.
Yep. So yeah, Mike was being held up in traffic, and this is not what he needed. And I think, yeah, I think pitting early, or maybe pitting early might have just cost him slightly as he's trying to get by. But the traffic in front of him is not a, or actually I say that it looks like it's Sherkins is not willing to give up that position, and quite rightly he doesn't have to give up that position if he's fighting for it.
You don't have to, but yeah, Michael is forcing his way more or less. But he was there, so. If there are complaints, the stewards will handle them. Oh, I think, okay, he can of course signal because he thinks he is quicker, we know it, but yeah, it doesn't give you any rights. That moment. If you don't want to get into traffic at those points, then you need to stay out longer, right? Make sure you. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, bump him right. Yeah, that's nice. You just give him an extra bump, put him straight again.
So
I thought it was nice, and he could have driven away there. He didn't need to wait that long.
yeah, and while that was going on, it looks like Martin van der Kraan gained a couple of positions with them having issues in the corkscrew. So as I look at Martin now coming across the line, and it looks like Sherkins is into the pits as well.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, can't see how long it will take, right, for a pit stop. I'm really curious when, because now of course we've gone past halfway, and Marius and Ben are still driving, so. Oh, Marius in the pits now, so. Okay, so Ben is still driving. And Andreas as well. I think, yeah, now we have to wait a bit. Chris Pinch back in the pits. Now we're gonna have to wait a bit and see where Michael actually ends up, right?
Yep, I think Michael being held up by traffic might have just cost him. So we're watching Marius at the bottom of the screen to see where he comes out, and still in the pits. So I wonder if this is a fuel.
I think he's no, I think it's probably everything as well.
So Marius is leaving the pits, so it looks like Michael will stay ahead of him.
Yeah, he's now ahead. So, yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the one I'm interested in is Ben Maurer, to see what he does and see if he comes out ahead of Thomas or not. But again, Thomas has been held up by traffic, and
Ben is in the pit now as well.
So yeah, Ben Maurer in the pit. So it'll be interesting to see if he jumps Thomas and retakes the lead.
Yeah, Nikolai is trying. Yeah, he's the guy in front of. Oh, Michael. That's not nice. It's not how you pass. Oh, stop and go 30 for Andre. So why is that? Speeding in the pit lane? Oh, Ben is driving again already.
So yeah, what the fuck?
He perhaps only does. He only does fuel, I guess.
So it looks like Ben's going to come out ahead of Michael quite comfortable.
No, I don't think so. Because he's now driving away, but he has this really, really weird pit exit that he needs to take, which is incredibly hard to drive. So, but it's gonna be really, really close. Yeah, Ben is in front at the moment. That's nice. Or if he took tires though.
Yeah, Mar's got a drive-through. Cause I wonder if that was for I wonder if that was for that pit exit. Because I did notice that Mar went over the green paint by quite a lot.
Yeah, but you don't get a drive-through for that, right? I think. Must be speeding and entering the pits, I think. That's a shame. No, it's a stop and go 30. So, wow. I thought this pit wasn't that difficult, right? So it's because you can't almost drive in too quickly because it's sort of, just a small reminder for myself as a small mental note is I need to actually drive into the pit a few times to see what the hell is going on there. I didn't do it last time. That sort of cost me a stop and go at that moment. And on Imola I forgot because and a stop and go for Ben as well.
So yeah, that's unfortunate because Ben was having a really good race and then. So yeah, I think Michael Thomas might have just been handed a bit of a lifeline here to retake the lead.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, I think still quite amazing that Marius Reisig has the quick lap. Which is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. What's his time then? 1:22.150. That's incredibly quick. And what's the best time? So Michael did a 1:22.300. So. And last lap for Michael was where is he? Was a 1:22.577. And Marius did a 1:23.7. So yeah, there's quite a big difference. Because Marius is really being held up, I think, by Milan at the moment. That doesn't help his pace. Vinci is trying to overtake Boss, so Jean and Marika can have a bit of fun in the chat if they want to. I'm getting some tips by Kurt Peters. Frank, it's a small and narrow entry and a sharp corner into the pit. So yeah. Thanks, Kurt. There was a mistake by Pinchback? Yeah, okay. But I find it amazing that Marius has such a hard time overtaking Milan, to be honest. Would have thought he would have sort of been able to, sort of breeze past him. He's so much quicker, and going here on the outside is probably not the best idea, but he makes it stick, and I think Milan in the end now gave him space, so that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, with just under 30 minutes left in the race, it's Dries are currently down in 7th place, and I think he was maybe hoping to be a bit further up, just right behind Thomas, hopefully. But as other drivers in front have still got to make their pit stops, of course. So once they cycle out, it'll be Thomas back to the lead. But it looked like at one point he wasn't going to get the lead back because he was being held up by traffic slightly, and Bard.
Yeah, he put it in the pits, I think.
Regan Mitchell's had issues.
Yeah. okay. Oh, he might have spun out on that corner, right? And then Ben just parked his car in the pit. Ben Mullard. Same, by the way, I think as Stuart Wright did. They're both for several minutes in the pit already. And Andre Urzen now has the quickest lap, so let's take a quick loop. He now did a 1:22.137, so it's nice. Really, really good time. So. But it's quite amazing, right? Is that Marius was almost unable to pass Milan Dauma, but he's over a second quicker per lap. So. And then it's still really hard to pass. So I understand the mentality of Michael to just force a pass, but yeah. Fredriksson is in third, did his pit stop and is in front of Michael. So he probably did only fuel. And not no tires. I would expect him to have done that. That's the only reason how he can gain so much time, I think. I would expect that has happened. Well, Marius is trying to push as much as he can at the moment, I think.
Yeah, so looking at Andy King, and he's right behind Richard Pixel as well. Both these guys are third and fourth at the moment in the semi-pro class. Obviously, King still needs to make his pit stop, and Pixley's already made his pit stop. So I think at the moment, just watching I think Pixley, once the pit stops cycle out, he should cycle round to about second in the semi-pro class and round about probably 7th or 8th overall. Once the pit stops cycle out. As I look at the class leader at the moment, they coming through the final couple of corners, and they dive into the pits. No, he stays out. So yeah.
No, this is there, so he's able to.
Already made his pit stop. So yeah, he's pretty much good until the end. And if it keeps going the way it's going, he could be on for a possibly top three or top four finish.
So, kind of curious if Michael will try and force his way here as well. I sure hope not. Yeah, there he goes again. Well, that was a decent dive bomb, but yeah, he's so did a fair thing, leading his own class and not trying to fight Michael here. Now the battle of the BMWs. Let's see if Andrew can keep him behind a bit. I think Andrew is struggling a bit as well. Michael is so much quicker. Yeah. That was nice. He just really showed him going for it. So pit stop by Patrick Treffers, I think. He's starting up again. Dario, I think yeah, that's his name, right? Dario, yeah. I haven't seen him a lot, but he's not doing that badly in the standings either, right? Dario Vianello, he's Pro 70. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he missed 2 races as well. So this is his 3rd race. I think Martin Ulrich, who is our number 5th in the pro standings. So he did really well on the last 2 races. He got 3rd and 3rd. So he's climbing up, I think, because he didn't qualify that well. We still have quite a few people that need to do a pit stop, so there are quite a few people that actually are doing, I think, the sort of splash and dash strategy, which I think is quite amazing, including Regan Mitchell, which is a bit unexpected, to be honest. But that might explain a bit of Regan's fallback in the standings, that he was just on a very high fuel load as well.
Yeah, I was going to say Regan's still leading at the moment, but obviously he still needs to make his pit stop. But Marius is being held up slightly, and I wonder if Vargas is just going to let him go, and no, he's not letting him go. He's fighting for that position. Then I think is Marius going to go around the outside. If he can hold it, he will have a great run, and yeah, great move by Marius.
Although I always think, at least whenever somebody's behind me like that, and I've not yet pitted and they have already pitted, yeah, what's the use? I will usually just let them by. I think that's just decent practice. But it was a really nice overtake by Marius as well. So which makes Marius, yeah, at least at the moment, yeah, more or less, yeah, in class anyway, behind Michael, number 2. If you look at the pit stops that still need to happen, I think Regan and Andrew, when they pit, there's not, especially between Andrew and Marius, there's only like 3 seconds, so that's easily overtaken. And Regan has an 8-second lead over Michael. And then 3, so that's a 16-second, 17 seconds in between. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think it's longer, right? If you do a pit stop, even if you do a splash and dash, it's probably gonna take more than 17 seconds to do that. But we'll see. I mean, it's especially with Regan, it's a really interesting strategy because yeah, he's the direct competitor for Marius in the standings, so they're like 13 points apart. And then with Clyde having left the competition, Marius will, if he continues going like this, he will be first in class. With Regan a close second. Well, not that close, but at least second. What are the lap times at the moment? So Thomas is doing 22.7. Marius 22.5. So yeah. So the Richard 22.7 as well, Richard Pixley. So that's quick. And then now we're 22.5. So yeah, he's really quick as well in the GTR. Because there aren't a lot of people actually doing 22. So Nart is now doing 22s. Martin Ulrich is doing 22s. So then Nart Nart got a stop and go, right? So, and same as Andrei Urso, I think, as well. There are quite a few people that had a stop and go 30, so. And Ben, they kept driving. So Martin trying to close in on, who's the pink one? Martin is the red one, right? So, oh, Peter van Lieshout, yep. So both in the Ferrari. There are quite a few Ferraris actually, which I think is a popular car because apparently it's one of the easiest to drive. Not quite sure if that's actually the case, but
Yeah, I would probably say that for my short practice with the Ferrari around here, I would probably say it's one of the cars to have, and it's a really stable car, and it's probably very, for someone that's maybe not good with setups or prefers to drive a car that they're comfortable with. I would probably say the Ferrari is one of them to have, and it's probably right up there with the Aston Martin.
because I've before the start of season 5, I think I drove all the cars at one. Like, okay, there were so many cars I hadn't driven, and I just took the default setup, or at least the faster setup, and then just did like 3 or 4 laps with each car. And then I didn't really like the Ferrari. I came from the 488. Because I've always driven the Ferrari 488 in previous seasons, and that was a really lively car. And I thought this one was a bit boring. Perhaps it didn't give me the same feeling, and I then took the Lambo because I thought that was just more fun to drive.
Yeah, I've not done that many laps with the Lambo, to be honest. I've done some laps of it, but not a lot. But yeah, some people seem to like it, and other people seem to. I guess it depends what kind of car you like to drive. Some people like to drive a car that maybe oversteers or is really pointy, or really pointy, as in it like they like a car to turn in quick. But it looks like they might have a change of position with Van de Kraan trying to make a move.
Well, if he can keep it this close now in the final turn, he should be able to get a good run into turn 3. No, turn 2 and 2A almost it is, right? He's a bit too far, I think. That was just a bit too much. But really nice racing with them, so and even that's still something that I experience anyway, is that if you're racing now like they are for like position 16 and 17 and you're close racing, for me that's the same experience as on a higher position. It's just as much fun. It's really close, it's intense, it's fun, and then if you do that for a lot of laps, it's excellent. But that also means you have no clue what's happening during for the other people in the race as well. That's always the good thing, I think, about such a broadcast as we are doing, is that you can look back and just see what other people were actually doing during the race. It's just so much fun. And then see a few different views, a few different battles than just the ones that you experience in your sort of narrow piece of the track that you are driving in.
Indeed, excuse me. Indeed, is it? Yeah, we just got just under 15 minutes remaining, and yeah, hard to believe that this race has absolutely flew by. But yeah, it's been a much quite. Oh, I was about to say it's a much quieter race, but someone's had an issue in the corkscrew, and it looks like it's Shellikins.
Yeah. So we do still have quite a few people that need to pit. So let's see. I mean, Regan is still in front, but his lead of like 8 seconds has come down to, what is it? To 3 almost, I think, at the moment. So I think if I look at the times that Regan is now driving, he's like driving 23.8, where the guys behind him, Michael Thomas and Marius Dreisig, they're running like 22.5. So yeah, they're really closing up. And then unfortunately, it looks like the strategy from Regan by doing only a splash and dash will not help him get past at least Marius in this case, which is his direct competitor in the standings. But it's still like 13.5 minutes of driving with a track that and a corkscrew that might flip you over anytime. So the race isn't done until it's done in this case.
Indeed, as always, like we might have a change of position into turn, basically into turn 2. Matt Van der Kram loses a couple of positions, and yeah, Erzo and yeah, somebody else, I can't remember who it was, they went through, and Van der Kram decides to play it sensible. As okay, so as Regan Mitchell went by while lapping these guys as well, so yeah, Regan Mitchell doing a bit of a Sam Spencer link, if you like, going as long as possible, and yeah,
He did it before as well, right? I think he did it in other races, yeah.
I think Mitchell's done it before, but I can't remember what race it was. Other races he's done it. So yeah, going as long as possible. So, but obviously he's got Andrew Richardson and Schroeder to make the pit stop as well, along with Duma and King, and so I think if Mitchell, when Mitchell makes his pit stop, he should cycle out round about P5, P6.
Yeah, I guess though that Nord might overtake him at the moment. Nord has been driving 122 laps as well. But I find it always a bit tricky if you have a race leader to try and overtake. You don't definitely want to mess that up. Yeah. So Thomas is really closing in, or Michael Thomas.
Yeah, so looking at Mitchell at the moment, and you can see there Nard Court's right behind him, who's just lapped. So yeah, Regan Mitchell, I'm guessing we would expect to see him in the pits within probably the next 3 laps.
And Nard has been he's struggling a bit. He also clipped into the sand at the top of that turn 6. So I think his tire is also going into the corkscrew, because you have then a bit of sand on your tires. Your braking is affected as well. He out-braked himself a bit. Here we go for Iridius move on Nick Vargas, I think, or he tries to anyway. Iridius Bartes.
Yep, so that's it. Excuse me. So yeah, just under 10 minutes remaining, and still Mitchell leading the race, but further back we've got this battle with Partes and Vargas going on as well. So yeah, the Polish driver trying to make a move and trying to gain the position, and Vargas goes to the inside and defends, but yeah, parks it in the middle of the corner. So yeah, good defensive driving there.
Yeah, it is a track where if you're good at defending, it can really help you out, right? Because if you position your car really on the apex, and it's really hard for other people to pass, and if you make sure you get a good exit any time, then you can make your life a bit easier. Because it's really hard to get a run on you at that moment. Quite a few different braking lines, right, into the corkscrew. some people stay really more to the inside, and some go really completely to the outside. And I'm not quite sure if it's only defending or if people usually do that as well.
Yeah, as the coming to the final quarter, looking at Dario at the moment, and gets a bit sideways getting on the power. So yeah, compromises his run slightly, but still waiting for Mitchell to make his pit stop along with several other drivers. So yeah, I think most drivers are just doing a long run and just deciding to take a splash of fuel. So yeah, I don't know if it's just me, Frank, but it's probably been the quietest race of the year with regards to incidents. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully,
Well, we've seen a lot of stop and goes. I don't think we've seen that many yet in one race. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the pit straight or with the pit, but yeah, there's whoa, that nice evasive action. That was nicely done to not hit anyone there. So was that Patrick who did that? Yeah.
Yep,
so
that was
well done,
yeah.
Patrick. Good save for not hitting anyone.
So looking back at the battle for ninth, and as Dario's got by Martin Holt, Andy King, sorry. So it looks like Dario's trying to make a position into the final corner as well. So can he get it stopped?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can. So another position.
Well, that's not too shabby in a couple of corners, two positions.
Oh, that was Ulrich, sorry. So, Ulrich's starting to come back at him. So, is he trying to make him position? Is Ulrich taking the position back? Yeah.
And Andy is trying to lift on. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, the black car's Dario. So, yeah, so much action going on that my eyesight can't keep up. as, our director in the background apologising, but it's all good. There's plenty of action going on, so sometimes it's hard to keep up. But yeah, it's been coming to the closing stage of the race. It's been fantastic racing throughout the field, and they still waiting for Mitchell to come in for us pit stop, along with Richardson, Schroeder, Duma, and King. So yeah, most of these guys going on a long run, just deciding to take fuel towards the end. So yeah, not a bad strategy. It looks like that was a bit of
Specialicans, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he got it stopped. I mean, he did what he needed to do. So that's Reiner and that's Bas, right? Oh, give Bas some love on track. Yeah, well. Come on, Bas, don't park it on the apex. That's Reiner, right? Reiner instead. Oh, yeah, oh, that's a shame. That didn't really help. Did Bas lose some positions there? I think so, right? To Patrick Treffer, perhaps, yeah. And here's Michael. Yeah, this could be the one, right? Yeah, it is. We have to applaud our camera guru here because he just switched in the correct time to the overtake. Well done, Mr. Hill.
Michael Thomas back to the lead. So
yeah,
he wasn't hanging around wasting any time trying to close that gap down to Regan, and I think Regan will probably dive into the pits at the end of this lap, or not at the end of this lap, the next lap, because we've got about 420. That's about three laps remaining, I think.
Yeah, I think it sort of depends on when Michael will pass the finish straight, if he gets another lap in or not. So, but yeah, I mean, looking at the top three, Regan still needs to do a pit stop, and then we have Marius in 6 seconds. So whatever pit stop Regan is doing, he's not gonna end up in front of Mario. Then 7 seconds again to Perrier. So Players, I think, yeah, then he's safe to Richard Pixley, I guess. But still, decent, really good drive from Richard. I mean, he's now in 6th position, 2nd in class, so nicely done. And I think Chris Pinchbeck, I mean, on which position did he start? It's quite far in the back. He didn't qualify that well, right? Chris Pinchy?
Uh,
So,
I
so
think Chris Pinchbeck qualified. I can't remember. I think it was round about the top 15 or top 20 or round about that. That's my guess anyway, but I would need to double check to be sure. But yeah, good to see him doing well in 8th at the moment and currently running in P3 in the semi-pro class at the moment. So yeah, a good drive by the Englishman, and I think I think he'll be happy with that result. I think.
yeah, I mean, very well done. Yeah, I think he's profited from a couple of mistakes in by people going a bit too fast in the pit lane, which he qualified 16th, Pinchy. Thanks, Gene. So yeah, brilliant drive then.
Yeah, so
I mean, he's probably gonna end up in front of Nikolai as well. I think that like a 15th. Oh, Nard. Oh, Nard probably collided with. That was Peter van Lieshout. Yeah, Peter van Lieshout. So yeah, yeah. I think that's Terrier behind it, right? Yeah.
let me see. Yeah, it is. So Schroeder's another driver to make his pit stop. So yeah,
Regan still, yeah, he should be getting into the pits now as well, right? If he doesn't.
most of these drivers are leaving it very late, so
Yeah.
I think Regan should be into the pits at the
Yeah,
end of the slot.
yeah. So Andy is in the pit as well. So we still have Andrew and Regan to enter the pit. So that should just be a splash and dash, and see where he comes out then.
Yep. So Regan into the pits.
Oh, there's the 50 already. Okay. So it's really at the entry.
Yeah, you've got to pay good attention to that pit speed limit. The speed limit line into the pits, because it comes up quicker than you expect.
Because you that corner that comes behind it, it's a really tricky, really tight corner. You can't go fast anyway. So it's I find it a bit, yeah, okay, safety reasons in real life I can understand that you need to drive 50 already there, but but I don't think you can get any faster through that corner anyway, so that way it should be reasonably okay. And is Andrew gonna make it in time? What was a bit?
Andrew Richardson leaving the pit lane, so he should come out back in. He's P6 at the moment, and Andrew wants to make sure he doesn't cross that green paint, because that's something that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's a thing. I think if you just drive too fast, I think that's more of a problem than. So, and here we have our winner. Well done by Michael.
Yep,
I mean, he was really quick today.
And Marius Dreiser comes across the line to finish in 2nd place and collect a good haul of points for the championship. And Fredrickson takes the class win in the semi-pro class, and Regan Mitchell will finish in 4th place. So yeah, plenty of good drives throughout the field, and as the rest of the field comes across the line.
Yeah, just really good racing, I think, overall. Looking at the amount of sort of incidents with And then this is a track where that can easily happen. I think it's been rather incident free, except for a couple, but it's actually quite nice. I expect a bit more problems in next week's race, to be honest, with a couple of rookies on this track. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, next week's race for the Tier 2 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. That's yeah, one of my favourite tracks, one of my favourite layouts, and I always enjoy racing around there. And I think it's going to be great to watch for the final round of the season, especially with the two race format, with a 20-minute race, and then the second race being 45 minutes, I believe. So
yeah, it's 20 and 45. Yeah.
So but yeah, good two races to round out the season at Indianapolis next week, and
And reverse grid, right? So that's in 2 weeks' time, by the way. So next week, my race for the Tier 2 on Laguna Seca here. And in 2 weeks' time, we have the Indianapolis double header. So
absolutely, and as the races came to a close, your impressions from this race, Frank? It was a lot quieter than usual, but overall, it was still great racing throughout the field.
yeah, I mean, this is, I think, just keeping it on the track is a difficult race in itself already. I think I need to focus more on my own racing than on the cars around me on this track, just to keep it on the tarmac and not spin out. So yeah, it's quite a that's an impressive feat for anyone who's been able to drive this race without spinning, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion in this case. But yeah, amazing racing again, which you still, I think you would expect on this level. There are quite a few guys, even within the race, on a higher fuel load, still driving those low 122s, which I think is mind-boggling. Yeah, really awesome qualifying. I mean, the lap times they were able to get out of that are even crazier. So yeah, overall a really good race by the people that did it today. Still a bit of a shame, I think, that from the total amount that we started with, that there were like 28 or so that started the race, where we were with 50 at the beginning. So I do think that, of course, now we have quite a few people that are not there because of holiday as well. So quite a few sign-ups at the last moment. But yeah, hopefully a couple of and really nice races again in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely. So, yeah, if anyone's looking for more GT3 racing to watch next week, the Tier 2 races at Indianapolis, so make sure to tune in for that. And then, as Frank mentioned, in 2 weeks' time, we've got the last Tier 1 race of the season at Indianapolis. So, still got plenty of GT3 racing to give you your GT3 fix. But yes, sadly, I've got to jump off now. But Frank will still be around to do some interviews. But Frank,
if people are joining, yep,
it's been a pleasure as always, and along with Chris as well.
Thanks for me. Thanks, Ryan.
And yeah, look forward to joining both of you in 2 weeks' time for the last Tier 1 race of the season.
Yeah, we will. Thanks a lot. So that's the race now. Let's hope that somebody will be joining us, and otherwise we can get out of the session early as well. Let me first close off a couple of things. So, well, if nobody's joining, Marius is sometimes popping in, so still looking for him, I must say. So we had Michael, and so the first three, Terje, Chris, and Oh, Chrissy, that was, who was the second? Chris Pinchback was third, Fredrickson first, and that was not Pinchback, Pixley, Richard Pixley, right? He was second in semi-pro. So, but Regan, did he still end up fourth? So, well, then he didn't lose that many points in this case to Marius, and there's still everything to race for in the next double header for him. So that's nice. Gives us a bit of things to look forward to. But well, Chris, I must say it doesn't look like. Oh, there's Regan. Oh, that's always nice. Hey Regan, welcome to the shed, or what is it? Yeah.
Hello, I probably should have checked my mic before coming in here. How you doing?
Oh well, it's working.
Very good.
So how was your race? I mean, an amazing long stint.
Yeah, it was terrible, horrible to be honest. Probably my worst driving performance like in a long time. I don't know if you saw, but I accidentally turned my engine off towards the end, and had to stop on the straight to restart the engine because it doesn't let you turn your ignition back on if you're in gear. Turns out.
Yeah, true.
Somehow still got third in class, so I'm very happy about that. But the performance from me did not warrant that.
Because I find it really hard to be consistent on this track. I'm not quite sure if that's then something that you feel like that's what made you a bit worse. I find it really hard to just sort of keep a decent rhythm and not make any mistakes and keep the track the lap times a bit similar. Is that something then that happened to you?
It was really hard to stay consistent, but I don't know if that's just my lack of race practice or. But I guess, yeah, very tricky track because there's no downtime. Most of the tracks have some sort of long straight or something. There is nothing on Laguna Seca, so yeah. Hot weather as well. So in real life, makes it really hard to concentrate.
In that small room where everything's overheating because you have a decent system, yes.
Yeah.
that draws too much power.
Space heater next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you did plan for the long stint, right? So
yes, I did, because especially it turns out for the McLaren to be extremely hard to overtake here. I did not think I'd be as far down on top speed as I was, but yeah, decided to go along. The fuel usage was actually better than I expected, so the full tank got me all the way to the end, which is good. Yeah.
Okay, because and did you then have any problems with your tires, perhaps? Because that's something that I'm a bit worried about on this track always, is that if you hit the sand too much, is that your tires start deflating?
To be honest, I didn't experience any tire problems at all, really. It's just the understandable lack of pace from running that heavy and running the tires for that long. But there was no, nothing major in that regard.
Okay. And how are you looking forward into the next double header?
It's a reverse grid, right?
Yeah, the second one. Yeah, so it's Indianapolis. So any familiarity with the track?
Yeah, I've got familiarity with the track. I don't know if it will be the best for the reverse grid, but I'm still looking forward to it because I loved the last one. Very, very excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, well, there's still everything to hope for, I think, because the difference between you and Marius, you should be able to overcome it if he has a bad, perhaps reverse grid. And you have a great one. There might still be, there's still something on the table. I think that before this race there were like 13 points between you. So, but there's also still, I think this season we have one race result that we can drop, so it might actually be less. I'm not quite sure what the exact standings were, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with how the championship table is, but I think I'm not too far off. So if a
Oh.
minor miracle happens, let's see.
Let me take it there. So let's see. At the moment, you're in third, but Clyde said, "Okay, I'm drawing out of the competition because he was first, but he's moving to Germany apparently, and he wouldn't be able to get his rig back on time." And then you had Marius with 55 points and you with 42. But you have a race result of 9th as a worst, and I think Marius had that one as 8th. So yeah, there's it might be a bit closer still than it looked there, and
all to play for, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, 2 races, full points.
Yeah.
Could be happening, I say.
We'll give it a go.
Yeah. That's the spirit, right? So yeah, looking forward then to you seeing you again in 2 weeks' time. And thanks a lot. And again, congratulations with the result, Regan.
Yeah, thank you.
Very nice.
Bye.
Okay, bye. So yeah, that's then it, I think, for today. So I think with that, and again, thanks to Ryan for commentating as well. Chris for the camera and brilliant camera views again. And me, Frank, signing off for tonight. And looking forward to see you all in 2 weeks' time at Indianapolis for the double header.